Well, hello again. So today I just want to take a moment to discuss a bit of an alarming trend I'm watching develop in the Northwest Territories mining industry and economy in general, which is a declining GDP and a regulatory environment which is becoming increasingly difficult in order to get mining projects approved and developed, which is really going to lead to a detriment for the Northwest Territories overall. This situation is very similar to what was experienced in the 1990s with the shuttering of Giant and Con Mine. Myself, being a born and raised Northerner, watched as Yellowknife decreased in population from 20,000 people all the way down to around 16,000 people. Jobs dried up, people moved out of town, businesses shuttered. It was not a good time to live in the Northwest Territories. So in 2020, actually, the Northwest Territories experienced the largest GDP drop of any of the provinces or territories. It saw a negative 10% decline in GDP when actually our sister territories, the Yukon and Nunavut, saw increases in their GDP. And this was primarily driven by a decrease in mining activity. So recently, the NWT and Nunavut Chamber of Mines reported that Nunavut, for the first time in history, was going to have greater mining activity than the Northwest Territories. So you see this trend of declining mining activity existing in the Northwest Territories and increasing mining activity happening in Nunavut. And there's two recent stories that actually really illustrate this switching of who is the leader in the mining space out of the territories. Recently, Sabina Gold reported that they're very close to acquiring $500 million of financing for their Goose Mine in Nunavut. So you see investor dollars flowing into Nunavut, where you have a regulatory environment and a government that's supporting projects, rather than into the Northwest Territories, which I find kind of strange considering you'd think that developing a project in the Northwest Territories would be much simpler than in Nunavut, where um, the costs of deploying infrastructure and building infrastructure are so much higher than what you see in the Northwest Territories, considering the difficulty accessing some of these sites. And then another illustration of just kind of this downtrend of activity in NWT and just a lack of encouragement to build projects or a good business environment is recently NorZinc, Prairie Creek, was meant to initiate construction of a winter road at their Prairie Creek mine, a zinc mine located in Nahanni National Park, and was unable to get approvals for a couple of management plans, and that led to them actually canceling that piece of the project and delaying it till next year. So you see this kind of divergence of Nunavut mining activity increasing further and Northwest Territories mining activity decreasing further. It just doesn't paint a pretty picture for the NWT economy going forward, and makes me think about those times in the 1990s when you saw Yellowknife's population go down by 4,000 people. And being a longtime Northerner, it really concerns me about people's futures and just the overall future of the Northwest Territories going forward. So I'm not here to point fingers at any particular person or agency, but it's clear that there's an issue here that needs to be sorted out between government, regulatory agencies, and the business community. So going forward, because we're going into a period here where we've got some of the largest projects in the Northwest Territories are going to be shuttering. Diamond Mine is going to be closing in about 5 years. Acadie doesn't have a lot of time left, maybe 8 years. And Getchokwe is kind of the same situation. You see these three projects close up. That's really going to have a massive impact on the people of the Northwest Territories, people working, the mine workers, the First Nations that depend on these projects in order to for employment for their people, and really reverberates, and it's kind of back to that situation in the 1990s with the closing of Con and Giant. So hopefully going forward, this situation between business, government, and regulatory agencies can be mended, and we can really stop this bleeding of business activity that we're seeing occur in the Northwest Territories.